Hi, I'm Jeremy, and I'm your host of Tell Me Wine TV, where we try to answer your questions about wine right here on the internet. And today's question was sent in from William from Dumbo, who asks about wine pairing and the rules about wine pairing, wine with food. How do you do it? What do you suggest? What are the rules, etc.? There are obviously many people say the basic rule is white wine with things like poultry, chicken, fish, vegetables, salad, and red wine with beef, lamb, of course, heavier fare, barbecue, whatever. And I would say in general that rule is true. But you should first drink what you want and what you like, almost no matter what you're eating, and because it's tricky to actually pair wine and food correctly. Any food, with any particular ingredient can change the approach that you will have with pairing food and wine. So, for example, if something has a lot of tomatoes in it, even though it's a beef dish, there's a lot of acidity in it, and that may throw off a wine. If something has cream or butter or mustard or something that's heavily spiced, it's going to affect the way you taste the wine. Again, you're going to hear all sorts of rules about what to pair with what. Many people say, Asian food with Rieslings or things with some residual sugar to combat the spiciness, and so the wine can show itself without getting overpowered by the food. These are good rules. These are good rules. There are some wines that, we talk about terroir, and like Muscadet or Chablis, which has very minerally quality to it. Goes wonderfully with fresh seafood, shellfish, oysters, clams, things of that nature. Great accompaniment. And there's nothing better than a hearty cassoulet with one of our friends from Cahors. Where is that? A hearty, sturdy wine. So here's a Malbec from Cahors. So I would say, one rule would be to drink the wine from where the food comes from. It's probably one good rule. So if we just specifically talked about Cahors and Provence, I guess that is, what food do they make there and what wine do they make there? And, if a wine comes from the coast and it's a seafood dish, I think that's one good rule. So drink the wine from which the food comes from. That's kind of a biodynamic kind of rule, I suppose. Are there any other rules? Again, it's a tricky business, and obviously the more complex a dish is, the more complicated the exercise is to pair the wine with it. But just experiment, think about the food dish, and think about what components are going to be the strongest, and think to yourself, because you want the wine to show, you don't want one way or the other. You don't want the wine to overpower the food if it's very delicate. I was just reading an article about sushi and wine pairing, and how can you pair wine with food, something so delicate and pristine, where you need to taste the very subtle nuances of this very fresh fish. You drink the wine that you like, and people will drink red wine with fish and white wine with meat. So it's something that takes a lot of time and a lot of practice, and a lot of debate. But I would say start from there. I mean, drink the wines you like. If you find that it doesn't work together, then don't do it again. Think about how the wine will complement the food, because I would say the food kind of comes first. I've also worked in, having worked in restaurants, you ask the question, what are you eating? and try to come up with an answer from there. But again, starting from that white and red, white with fish and chicken, and red with heartier fare is a good place to start. And from there, it's a lot of experimentation. So no easy answer there, William. I'm sorry, but enjoy the wine. Enjoy the wine for what it is, and I think you'll enjoy discovering pairings that work and don't work. So thank you, William, and keep sending your questions in to Tell Me Wine TV.